And in light of the fact that we have, through 10 at noon, a version of an online minyan, an online gathering of folks who join us each day of the week for prayer and meditation. Today we expand just a little bit, recognizing this day of remembrance. So we will run till just about 12:20 today to give this moment some beats that we need in the midst of our day, in the midst of our week, in the midst of springtime just around the corner. So we breathe into this moment as we breathe into each moment we gather together. Today is a day of remembering 6 million Jews who lost their lives during the Holocaust. 6 million. Truly an almost impossible number to contemplate. 6 million unto itself is too gigantic. And when you add to that the family trees that died when these 6 million died, it is a abhorrence that we as human beings can never allow again. So I invite you to imagine that you were to count by ones up to 6 million, a number each second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You will be here the rest of April and May, all of June and July, and even a bit of August. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, not even naming names. Each person just a number. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, perhaps 6. Perhaps 6 in these few minutes is all we can muster. 6, the letter Vav, the Hebrew letter that looks as if it is standing up straight, eyes to the horizon, looking beyond this moment with hope and possibility, gratitude, and recognition of the blessedness of our lives, not to live with such vulnerability as did our brethren who lived during the Holocaust and who died during the Holocaust.
שלא ייגמר לעולם, החול והים, רשרוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת האדם, החול והים, רשרוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת האדם. God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the
The Torah calls us to live with a choice, blessing and curse, life and death. Choose life so that you may live. For some, even as life continues, choose death. And others, even as death approaches, choose life. Even in the face of the worst atrocities, even in the face of the most awful of memories, we still have a choice. The Torah calls us to life again and again, as the sacred stories of our people never cease to be written, with ink that bleeds onto parchment and indeed sanctifies our lives. Torah is not something that has already been written. Torah is the way we write ourselves into our lives and make them beautiful and rooted in meaning.
For blessing, not for curse. For fullness and not for want. For life and not for death. Livracha velo liklala, לשובע ולא לרזון, לברכה ולא לקללה. לברכה ולא לקללה, לשובע ולא לרזון, לברכה ולא לקללה. לחיים ולא למוות, לחיים, לחיים ולא למוות, לחיים, לחיים, לברכה ולא לקללה, לשובע ולא לרזון, לברכה ולא לקללה. לחיים ולא למוות, לחיים, לחיים ולא למוות, לחיים, לשובע ולא לרזון, לברכה ולא לקללה.
I once stood with fellow travelers in a synagogue in Prague that today is a museum. It includes in its collection ritual items, art, and other possessions of Jews and Jewish families that were confiscated by the Nazis. It is today a reminder of the ways in which we must remember, and also of the devastating loss that is the Holocaust. One of the most profound moments was when I heard the docent giving us the tour explain that the names written on the wall of this synagogue were the names of the family names, and then the surnames of the individuals of that family who were killed. And if there was an asterisk next to the family name, it meant that in that family, every single person had been killed. It was a graphic representation of the cutting off of a tree limb, never to be again. Yom HaShoah is about reminding ourselves of this devastating loss. In Elie Wiesel's words, we must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. There may be times when we are powerless to prevent injustice, but there must never be a time when we fail to protest. Whenever men and women are persecuted because of their race, religion, or political views, that place must, at that moment, become the center of the universe. I invite you to write in the names of people whom you are remembering in this day. You had family members or friends of friends whose family members passed away during the Holocaust, were killed during the Holocaust. We invite you to write their names in, and those you are remembering today. All of us seek healing and wholeness for our world, for our people, for ourselves.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו, may the source of strength who bless the ones before us Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebirach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Counting. We find ourselves in the midst of the Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer, the counting of the days that lead from the second day of Passover to Shavuot, from the Exodus from Egypt to standing at Sinai. Sinai isn't a moment that's just in the Torah. Sinai isn't a moment that's just for Jews. Sinai moment is the moment for which all human beings are created. It is the moment when we awaken to our freedom and our power to further it or to choke it off for ourselves and for others. This is the counting of striving to stand at Sinai. For as we say on Passover, B'chol dor vador chayav adam, in every generation, each person, chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki iluhu yatzami mitzrayim, to see each person, for each person to see themselves as if they came forth out of the land of Egypt. And in our day, we add ki iluhu yatzami mishoah, as if we can see ourselves as if we came forth from the Shoah, from the Holocaust, for we are here and we are survivors, all of us. But dare we be witnesses for those who suffer the injustices that our people have suffered. Dare we carry ourselves into that fight, for we are only as free as the least free among us. On this Yom HaShoah, I encourage you to consider it a day of counting, striving towards Shavuot, striving towards making each day of our lives count for the sake of others, so that when we count up to 6 million, each one stands on its own as a reminder to us of the responsibility we carry. Thank you all very much for joining us. Thank you, Dan. Have a blessed day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rabbi. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rabbi. This is Paulette.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you,
Paulette.
guys.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Dan. It
Rabbi.
was
Yeah,
beautiful.
everybody.
It was a beautiful service. Thank you for including me.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Beautiful.
Thank you, Diana.
Rabbi, I don't know if you know this, but I'm painting 6 Holocaust survivors' portraits.
I did not, of course, know that. That's wow.
I'm currently on my 5th one, and these will
Neat.
be shown. I'll send you pictures.
I would love to see them.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.